as we dive into one of the toughest things we deal with,
Money.
which is our dollars and cents and handling it right in Profit First. I can't tell you how many people I have talked to in the last couple of weeks as we've been in this content who have just been winging it on their financials and not really making plans, not really having things organized, structured. It's just money in, money out. And they keep not making headway. They don't get financial gains in their life. They don't build wealth. And the main reason is because, one, there's no system and process in place. And two, they're not measuring things, which this process forces you to do. So with that being said, guys, we jumped into chapter 6 now, actually taking action, setting things up, starting to move money around, allocating where all our finances go. I got lots of nuggets highlighted here. And as always, I love starting the room with you guys. So what did you pull out of chapter 6 or anything we've covered so far?
I'll go. Sorry, I have to lead this one because I actually feel like I'm the least qualified. So I will tell you that the reason why I'm bringing this up is all of the various accounts. Once he started with there was an income account and there was a profit account, and he started listing off all these accounts. My eyes started to roll back in my head because I do get overwhelmed with this stuff quickly. What I can say is that my accountant had told me to create a savings account or a checking account just for my taxes. So when I get paid, I immediately put money in that account and I act as if I don't have that account. That's the hardest thing of all because it is sitting right next to my actual income account. But I still have to tell myself that's not my money anymore. So in a way, I've been forcing myself into this discipline, and this is not something that's easy for me.
So let's have a little fun with this, and then hopefully to make your life and everybody else's life easier in visualizing this. We're in this business to make money, right? So all that money drops into our income account.
Yeah.
That's just the math. And once it does, we just divide it, allocate it, and move it out of the income account into 4, quote, operational accounts. And here's what they are. Taxes. So you'll take your taxes right off the top, move it into an account for now. Profit. You'll take your profit and move it over. Your planned profit starting right now, if you have to, at just 1%. So you just get in the habit. Third account, your owner's comp. And then finally out into your operating expenses. What's left is what you run the business off of. And I'm excited that tomorrow we're going to dive into eliminating expenses, eliminating debt. The conversations we're going to be having. I've had a number of people tell me, and guys, get your darn cameras on. I like seeing you. I've had a number of people want to talk about getting financially free and get back into that conversation. So starting November on Thursdays, instead of Wired Wednesdays, we're going to do some Financial Freedom Thursdays. Same hour, 1 to 2 o'clock Central, every Thursday, where we will actually be doing not just a mastermind like we do here. We're going to do a workshop every day where you're actually in that hour, not only learning what to do, you're taking action. So a lot of these things we're doing right now in Profit First, we're going to be reviewing. And if you haven't done it, we're going to do it in the room. Same thing with building our personal budgets, our own home financial, because all of this, yes, this is talking the business side. We should be doing the same thing on the personal side to get our finances under control. Josh, you're up, then Nafritha.
All right. So quick question. Really, I think you can.
Your microphone's off, Nafritha. Oh, I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
So hold on to Freetha. You're going to be next. Josh, you're up right now. Go.
So really, if you're doing the stock, you can have 3 accounts, right? You can have your owner's comp, tax, and your operating account. If you take the 5% and move it over, and that way you don't think about your tax account, you don't think about your profit account, because you can't see your profit account unless you go into, I guess, what is it, E-Trade or whatever. Is that a little more basic, easy way to get started on that?
Absolutely the easy, basic way to get started. And know that for those of you that are on the EXP platform, because of that, we don't have a franchise fee, a royalty fee, like most other brokerages do. So what the intention was when the company was founded was, let's inspire you to invest in yourself and start building that freedom. No one else does this in the real estate world. Lots of other businesses do, though. They have you set up an IRA, a 401k. They even do matching sometimes. So instead of a royalty, we have the option of a 5% of every closing going off into, it's actually an E-Trade account is where it winds up. It's yours in the moment. You could liquidate it, buy something else. And the fact is, once you get it out of sight, you usually just let it sit there and grow. Now, Josh, the one thing I want to add to this is step 1. I would still set up a profit account and move 1% right now. So instead of moving 5, move 6. And here's why. The goal is to crank the profit up. And so we want to get you to a 15, 20% profit. And in real estate, we may get much higher than that. And so if you're just doing the 5, you won't have that other piece to kind of get you in the habit of growing the profit. Does that make sense? Awesome. I'll take a head nod. Julianne, what do you got?
Well, I was just going to say, it's since my husband works in accounting, when I was reading this chapter, because of all of the numbers, I just started thinking about the different people and their roles in the accounting department, and how, at In-N-Out Burger, that's where he works. That's not their money. They just move it. And that's kind of the mentality that we need to have as an entrepreneur. And that is, the money is earned for the business, but that's not my money. I need to allocate that money like a business. And that's where entrepreneurs get into trouble, is that they think that the revenue is their income, and it's not. Owner's comp is their income, their salary. So you have to set up your salary. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to make whatever I make. And everything I make is mine. It's all mine, And so the mindset of it being a business, I think, is like, you'll be working on that, it sounds like, in November, so far as, because there's books called The Money Mindset for entrepreneurs. And actually, he's a speaker at your EXPN Con. And so it was really cool, because I was kind of introduced to that early on. And this chapter is the one that actually brought me more back to that realization. It was like, okay, because right now it all just goes in one account. You pull some out for taxes and you're like, I'm done. And it's like, well, no, what's my budget? What's my, what are my expenses? And, it's pretty cool, because, at the end of the quarter, you get to start moving things around a little bit and kind of do like an overall picture. And it's, I can't wait for my next launch, which I'm going to The Price is Right this morning to do some research for my new digital course. And so I can't wait, because as it would have it, in my email, there was a notification from Amex to have a high yield savings account. So
there you go. They may have one there as well, and getting the money moved there. Absolutely.
Exciting
and
stuff.
I want to give you, based on what Julianne said, kind of an example, because this is how most of you are treating your business. Is not like a business. I had some acquaintances in Lakeway, Texas. She was the CPA and bookkeeper for multiple automotive dealerships. And again, she treated it like it was her own money. She bought a multi-million-dollar mansion with their money. She bought multiple rental properties with their money. She just kept playing games with their money. And at the end of the year, they got to see their financials. And guess what? They had no profit and their expenses were really high. And of course, that year, what happened to her? Yeah, she went to jail. Exactly. Now, you guys aren't going to go to, bad boy jail, yet you're putting yourself in financial jail every single year by not having these systems in place. And that's where we're going to get them in now. Justin, what do you got?
So I'll come from the content first. I like on the last page, I think this is the last page of chapter 6, 113, take action, get ready for a great year. I love that we were just talking about a run up to 2025. Start a celebration list, come up with ideas for how to spend your quarterly owner's distribution. And step 2, block out the 10th and 25th on your calendar into perpetuity. I've started step 1. I have not done step 2 yet. And then I got a huge takeaway from this reading and from listening to Julianne just now, and you, Russ, popped in my head. Is there anything you want to say before I tell you this takeaway?
Come on, let's hear it.
All right, we're recording now. So I think for a long time, I felt challenged by people asking, like, what do you do? And I came up with a new response is I'm a recovering kleptomaniac. I actually had to start my own business because had I stolen so much for so long from anybody else, I'd be in prison. And as I was like just finishing writing this up, you guys start talking about them going to jail or whatever. It's awesome. So I am grateful to myself for not sending me to prison for stealing from myself.
Nice. Well, again, into these action steps. Step 1, start a celebration list. Create that list of things you intend to do with the profit, because the profit is your celebration of making magic happen in your business. Step 2, block out the 10th and 25th on your calendar as those are the days you pay bills. Period. By the way, I would make that personal and business. Do them both that day. And then there was and by the way, block out the 10th and 25th on your calendar into perpetuity. So you're going to create it. It's going to repeat the 10th of every month for the rest of your life. That's what it means. Now, there's a step 3 from the content that didn't get written down here. So I want to make sure we add it. And that is to block out the last day of the quarter or the first day of the next quarter in perpetuity to celebrate your profits and take those, as well as make your quarterly tax payments. Because if you're US based, you're making revenue, you've got quarterly tax payments, and now the government is getting even tougher on people. If you didn't make quarterlies, but you make it at the end of the year, they still hit you with penalties and interest because you should have been doing it quarterly. So I want to make sure we get in the habit so we don't get on the government's radar. So again, step 3, block out quarterly profit and tax. So you're doing that every quarter to celebrate both of those, by the way, because you'll have the money to pay the tax man sitting there. And if you overpay, what happens at the end of the year?
You get it back.
Yeah, you get a bonus, right, Caesar? The government gives you a bonus back of your own money. How cool is that? Celeste, your mic is still hot, and then Caesar, you're next up, brother.
If I would add one other additional mindset or thought or step to this is that if you are aware of who you are and you're the person who might go back into that account because you need the money, then you need to take it one step further. And that is get somebody else to be managing that money. In other words, it has to stay out of your hands. And why do I say that? Well, because I got smart. I got an Edward Jones guy. I'm automatically putting in money into that account. It never sees my hands. And in the short window of time that I've been working with him, I've grown that account tremendously, not because I was so awesome, but because he was managing that money. So I love the idea of profit. I like the idea of the starting at 1%. I read the book. I'm reading the book. I understand the concept of start small because it's just to start the rhythm. But I also believe that if for some reason you think if you're not earning on that money, get it into an account that's going to then start moving that money into a growth account so you make more money.
So
And
your profit hold, because remember, there's 2 additional accounts. I gave you the foundational 5. And then there
Yep.
are 2 additional accounts to do exactly what Celeste is saying to do. And that is a profit hold and a tax hold. So those very well may be high yield accounts that are more difficult to get your money from. They shouldn't be in the same bank that you do your foundational 5 with. They should be
Yeah.
in something more difficult. And as Celeste is adding, if you're still a raider of even those, then move it to a 3rd step where there's somebody else personally involved that you have to go beg for your money.
Yeah.
So as it said in the content, they can smack you upside the head and say, what do you really need it for? I'm paying my taxes. Okay, you can have it. I'm taking it out of the profit account. Only 50%. Okay, you can have it. Make sure they understand what you're doing. This goes right back to the first chat or the first part of this chapter. Letting everybody know what you're up to. So your banker, you can let know. Your investment advisor, Edward Jones, you can let know. Your spouse, let everybody know what you're up to so they help hold you accountable to following the model. Caesar, I believe you were up, brother.
yeah, Coach, you kind of said that. I was going to say, Celeste, because you mentioned it before. You're like, I see the tax money, and you're tempted. So that's the whole point of him saying, take it from that account and then to another account that is not, that you won't see it. And so that I was going to add that. And to other part of the chapter, I don't remember which one it was, where that tax guy was excited to call his accountant on the January 4th because he had that money allocated already, like 30,000. He only had like 10,000 as a profit. So I just wanted to add those couple pieces that you eloquently just talked about.
Absolutely. And our goal right now is to really build and follow the model. I saw in the chat some ideas of other stuff. Nope, we're going to follow the model first. And I'm a firm believer in this because anybody who has achieved something, you can achieve the exact same thing by following their model. And once you've followed it and implemented it, now you can start looking for ways to plus it, make it better. It's whether it's a mindset issue, a business system or process, or even the creation of a widget. There's lots of mousetraps out there and everybody's always looking to build a better mousetrap. That's what I want you doing. Have the mousetrap first, profit first, roll it out, and then we can talk about ways to make it even better. All right, what else you guys have?
I was just thinking about what Celeste said about making it hard to get at the money, and I was just thinking that there are some like nonprofit agencies that it requires 2 signatures to take money out of that account. So if you're really a sticky bandit, you might want to have to require a second signature on there.
That's a great one. That's a great little nugget from moving into that second account that maybe you can add that layer of protection to break your habits of stealing. That's awesome. Great job, Alicia. What else, guys? You guys are working on this. You're making it happen. Celeste, keep going.
Profit first seems like something I should have learned many, many years ago. No one ever taught what you're doing with your money. It just came, somebody else referenced, money comes into your account. It's my money. So I did what I wanted to do with it, which then you learn at the end of the month, you don't have enough because you played too much. So my wonder is, I think I need a support group. And I was wondering if anybody is familiar, if Profit First maybe has a Facebook group out there. I know we're going to have our accountability coming up in a workshop in November. But in the meantime, is there a Profit First Facebook Facebook group.
And I'm sure there are profit first groups, organizations out there. And I would challenge you, Celeste, just lean into where you are right now and lean into our Thursday as of November. And here's why. Everything that we've been doing in this room, there are alternative and other groups and organizations and information. And imagine, oh my gosh, Ninja, I got to get in with some Ninja groups. Oh my gosh, fanatical prospecting. I got exactly what to say. And all of a sudden your entire day is doing all the superfluous stuff and not laser focused on the actual job description of real estate. Again, it's a video that I have right here on my notes to put today because I've been witnessing it and experiencing it with people in this room. Every one of you has a magic pending number. And if you don't know what that number is, let's have a conversation so I can figure it out for you exactly. And that's the number of pending you should have at any one time to make your goal happen, to hit your financial numbers. And if you're not at your magic pending number, then the only thing all day, every day is lead generation and lead follow-up. Having conversations, talking to people, whatever it takes, you should be a whirling dervish of activity hunting for business until you get to that magic pending number. Nothing else gets in the way. I mean, I'll give you guys a great example. I was able to get an orphan in and out of this company in 72 hours because they called and said, okay, Russ, I need to understand contracts. Let's spend time going through the contract. Do you have any business? No. Then why do you need a contract? Get on the phones, have conversation. We had this same conversation 2-3 times a day about all the superfluous crap. Yet if you don't have the business, none of it matters. So again, if you don't have your magic pending number, what are the odds you're going to have the revenue to even implement this? Yeah, not high. So I want to make sure you guys are nailing that, you're hitting it, you're nailing the top of the funnel and getting into massive activity to make that happen. Again, for me, brand new agent, brand new city, didn't know a soul. And I had a wife and kids to take care of and was thrown into real estate without them. I had no plan to be in real estate. It just magically happened in the moment for a lot of reasons. And so it was all day, every day, 5-6 days a week, 8-10 hours a day on that phone, crushing it for 90 days. 90 days, had 25 listings, set me up for over 75 units my first year. If you guys just put in that intensity and that passion, we can do this stuff after hours. We can carve out that hour on Thursdays. So that's 1 hour out of your 40 to 60 hour work week. We can work on it. Just don't get caught up in the superfluous stuff. I'm off my soapbox now. What else do you guys have?
I'll add one more thing to that, Coach. Once you get an activity and you start having conversations, there's some energy or something that happens that it like fuels you. And it's like this momentum starts building. It's hard to explain. All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, there's business out there. It's not like there's business, just you made the contact. So I just want to add that as well. It's like it's definitely challenging to get that going. But once you have that momentum, it's a little easier. I was talking to Carrie yesterday. She was saying she was frustrated with something. I'm like, did you make the call though? Did you make the contact? She's like, no. I'm like, just call that number and see if it is a right or wrong number. And you could even implement that in your conversation. You know what, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm not even sure if this is the right number. This is what my name is Cesar D'Souza. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. And just have a conversation. And I told them maybe they're not looking to do business, but they know some other person, their neighbor, their cousin. It usually happens that way. It's not that person that you contact that has business, but it's someone that they know, or someone. Or actually, my cousin is looking for somebody. So just want to add that additional piece that it builds momentum.
The activity, Cesar, keep your mic out of it. The activity builds momentum. The conversations build momentum. Cesar, I'm going to role play with you, and you're a wrong number.
Perfect.
I'm calling expireds. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Well, hello. Is this the owner of 123 Main Street?
No, actually, it's not.
Man, I tell you, I appreciate you picking up. I was actually calling 123 Main Street because they're an expired real estate listing, no longer for sale. You know, I'm also a believer that my God connects me up with people for who knows why. So I'm just curious, who do you know from work or your kid's school who wants to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate anytime in the next 14 months that I could help?
No one comes to mind right now. But I'm sure someone will come up in the future.
Well, what's your name, sir?
My name is Caesar.
Hey, Caesar, I also want to ask, who do you rely on to keep you updated on your real estate investment?
You know what? I don't really have anybody that keeps me up.
Well, because you were so kind as to pick up the phone, would you allow me to do that for you?
Sure, absolutely. Why not?
Awesome. And Caesar, what's your last name, sir?
D'Souza, Desouza.
And obviously, I got your phone number, and I'll correct it on whose it is on my list. Also, what's a good email for you so I can just send you those updates?
It's Caesar.D'Souza@gmail.com.
Fantastic. And I am a relationship guy. I'm excited that we're starting one here. And so would it be okay if I just stayed in light contact and checked up on you once in a while?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Awesome. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a great day. Now, does
Have
it always
I gotten business, Carrie, off of wrong numbers?
I guess so. I was worried about the do not call thing, but thank you so much. Thank you. That was
You're
fabulous,
welcome.
both of you. I appreciate that.
Does it
very
always go that way? No, but like that's just the process. A lot of the times people are open to having a conversation and it's on your tonality. So if you're like, excuse me, I was wondering if you hang up right away because that alerts salesman-ish language. But like if you just connect on a personal level,
Yeah.
I was wondering if you can help me out here for a moment. I was looking for someone. When you say those things, like people want to help you when you're connecting. Not a lot of people get phone calls, or if they don't answer. Like if they do answer, there's like a great way to connect. But you can't get comfortable doing that unless you're doing it. And I still get nervous if I pick up the phone. Like just something about, and it's not nervous. I think we talked about other books where there was an artist that thought that she was going to be a nervous breakdown before going on stage, and then I think it was like Bruce Springsteen or somebody that really literally described the same thing, but he was like, I'm getting excited before I get on stage. So it was like two different descriptions of the same feeling. And I think a step further, if you look at just the body chemistry, it's the same. It was the same thing happening. So
I also want to give you guys all Justin's magic question again. If you haven't written it down, I freaking love it for you calling people you aren't sure you know or you don't know. And Carrie, I'll do it with you. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Carrie. Could I call you at a worse time?
Yes.
Awesome. When would that be?
In the next
And
10 minutes.
That's what you get right there. That energy of laughing when you ask. I mean, we've been taught, did I catch you at a good time? We've been taught, did I catch you at a bad time? I love Justin's, could I call you at a worse time? It's a great opener that usually breaks down that immediate resistance. Oh my God, I don't know who this is. And they answer. And that one sentence changes the energy of the call. Play with it today. Use it.